I've never had to like use Discord on my phone for doing recording, so I'm like, oh, thanks for the $1.
Well, good luck, everybody.
Thanks for the $1.
You're welcome. Okay, bye.
Okay, bye. Hey, geese.
Okay.
I love you. I love you, babe. Yeah, no, I like looked and I was like, hey, why can't I pull up anything on my computer? And I was like, oh, because the internet's down. I wonder why the internet's down. And then I was like, the wind whooshed behind me, and Xfinity was like, yeah, your internet won't be fixed until midnight. Good luck.
Yeah. We just recently went through, like, a bout of that at work.
Yeah.
When, like, I have started coming in late on Wednesdays because I have to stay late on Wednesdays. And
so
I would,
it makes
like,
sense.
get
Don't work
texts,
more than you have to.
Yeah, I would get texts at the beginning of the day where it's like, hey, Comcast will be working in your area. And I would just text my boss and be like, hey, I just want you to know that we might be experiencing outages. And she's like, okay. And I'm like, yeah, there's nothing I can do. I was like, you guys either like, work or you don't. Like,
yeah.
If you want me to, I'll come in, but like, I'm taking another day. Because what's weird about it is that when nobody else can work, they all just decide to go home, which means that somebody else has to come in.
Yeah.
Which is typically me.
Which is dumb.
But they're already right, there, though.
They are already
they could
there.
Just stay.
But they'd all be like... no, Matt can come in.
No, I'm good. I want to go home.
I'm fucking dumb.
I'd be like, man, that sucks. I'm not available. I'm also home.
Man, that sucks. I was just having this conversation with somebody else about how, like, last year, somebody had said there was a blizzard rolling in, and I had decided that if the conditions weren't, like, whiteout, I would try and drive to the office just to make sure that everything was, like, safe and secure and okay. And there's another woman
crazy.
at the one of the residents was just like, that's crazy. I would have just told him I was not coming in. I was like, yeah, I mean, I get you. And I was like, maybe I could have told him my car was sick or something.
Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, this is the year of me seeing a singular snowflake and being like, damn, dude, that sucks. I can't make it. Like, if I can't get rid of the snow as it's falling with a dab torch, I'm not coming.
I mean, hell yeah, I love that energy for you.
Thank you. Well, like, last year, so the problem is that Town Hall is the, like, organization that calls it for everyone else. And, like, Town Hall sits in the same parking lot as the library. Like, we share a parking lot.
Yeah.
So they'll, like, all go home at 4:30, and we're open until 8:30, and they know a storm is coming. And they, like, all flip us off as, like, they're leaving the parking lot, and we're like, hey, like, the snow's starting to come down, can we go home? And the town manager is like, never ask me that again. Like, that is my decision.
He's like, what the fuck else are you supposed
She's
to
like,
ask?
don't call me.
Don't call me. Don't write me. Don't visit my house.
Yeah, don't call me. Don't. Yeah, like, forget my name. She's like, I'm not the town manager after 4:30.
Lose my fucking number.
Lose my fucking number.
Must be fucking nice, dude.
Well, I was...
Yeah, and so I watched all of Town Hall leave at 7 o'clock tonight, and I was like, interesting. Like, what about, like, I'm the only one up on the second floor tonight. What if I just said, Anne, I found your private cell phone number. I'm the only one on the second floor tonight, so I'm closing the library.
Yeah.
I was just having a conversation with another coworker about... There was a day... Fridays sometimes are weird because all of my coworkers leave at like 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
And there was a day when one of our new coworkers started, and, you know, she was working on Fridays before she had established with her boss that she wanted a remote day on Friday. And
Okay.
my boss walks up to her office and she's like, hey, I'm going to head out for the day. We all usually leave Matt here at around like 3 o'clock. And the other coworker was like, oh, and he's just okay with that? And my boss went, he doesn't have a choice, and just started laughing. And I was like, nothing in my life has made me want to quit this job more than the way that you're acting about me having to be here till 6.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a choice, LOL.
If Matt wants to
LOL.
get paid, he has to put in his 8 hours a day.
Like, that's so fucking shitty.
Which is wild too, because I have now 81 days of comp time that I have saved up.
Oh, I'd take them all at once.
See, and the thing is, like,
disappear for 3 months.
the thing is, I'm so tempted to too, but my boss was like, if you do that, we have to hire someone to be the director of volunteer engagement in the interim. And I'm like,
Sucks.
okay, but that just sounds like you're replacing me. You did this to you. Like, these are the consequences of your actions for
Your
not paying me
actions.
hourly, instead of, like, this is comp time that you're dealing with.
Yeah.
I don't
I don't
know.
know, dude. I would take it off. I'd be like, cool, that sounds like 3 months off of work. I'll be doing that right now. Maybe don't make me stay all the time. Like, you have all the bargaining power.
She literally, the other day, like, we were in a staff meeting and she was like, hey, I'd like it if other people could start pulling their weight around here and, like, helping out on weekends. And everyone was like, that sounds nice. Anyways.
Well, the problem is, like, it's kind of getting into, like, illegal territory.
It's
Yeah.
not,
And
though, because I'm being compensated for my time, technically.
You're not, though,
But you're
because
not.
she's telling you that you can't take your comp time, like, any time that you want, technically. She, like, if you were being properly compensated, you could go in there right now and say, okay, I'm taking all 81 of my days right now, and she'd just have to eat that. But what she's saying is we're going to have to hire someone new in the interim. That's not what she's supposed to do.
Yeah, but it's also impossible
no-
to fill my, like, I can't just drop off the face of the earth for 3 months.
No, you can't.
And they should
It's-
change the way that they comp
It's
you.
unreasonable to say that. I could.
It's unreasonable for them to do what they're doing.
I mean,
It's unreasonable to have worked you so hard that you have 3 months worth of
okay,
vacation
but
to
keep
use.
in mind the fact that a lot of that was accumulated during COVID when I was pulling extra hours so that my boss didn't stab homeless people to death.
yeah, I don't care about the well-being of your boss.
I don't
Yeah.
look. Here's the thing.
I
We're on the same boat. I'm saying, like, we can't take into, or we have to take into account the fact that a lot of my comp time came from pulling 12-hour days sometimes in the peak of a pandemic.
yeah.
And now it's just
Yeah.
my life, and I don't have friends outside of work that I get to hang out with regularly, and my mental health is deteriorating, and sometimes I just want to crawl in a hole and never come out again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Well,
In the face of not being able to fix your entire work situation, I do have a today in history.
Okay.
in other news, I'm going to go take a quick piss,
Yep.
and then I will be
Okay.
ready to do the rock away when we get back. Also, if you guys can decide amongst yourselves what you want the order to be, that's fine.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let me
okay.
untangle myself from the sea of cords that I have. All right, I'll be right back.
The
An
sea
ocean
of
of
cords.
cords.
It's corn. It's chords. My story is a little bit longer
Okay.
tonight.
Mine is also like it's medium length.
Okay. Yeah, mine is like just shy of 2 pages, so
Okay.
like a lot of it is me just like telling. There's not a huge amount for jokes, so it is just sort of like a straight shot.
Okay. Mine has a lot of room for jokes because it's about fucking Doc Holliday, and he's an insane human being. So, like,
Okay. In that case, yours sounds a little longer.
yeah. So let's. If you want,
I
I can
would
go
say-
first, and then you can go, and then
Yeah,
Matt can go.
Yeah, I would say front loading your story is probably better.
Okay. Yeah, I'm good with that.
Okay, cool. Are you and Liz feeling better?
Oh yeah, we're feeling great. Like, it sucked to have, but like at the end of the day, like we were not that sick. Like, we felt
Yeah, I mean,
felt
that's what I'm
crummy the
hearing
first
from
couple
everyone.
days and everything, but like we weren't like violently ill, you know.
Yeah,
was
and
nice.
that's kind of like what I'm hearing from everyone that's
Yeah.
like getting it. They're just like, it just sucks because like you're sick, but I
Yeah.
mean, it's not like laying people low like the flu.
Yeah, which is nice. Like, I'm not like, oh my god, I'm gonna die, you know?
I mean,
No,
we're
I
all
get
gonna
it.
die.
Well, yeah, but like eventually, not like right now though.
Why not?
Yeah, but like right now.
No, we're talking about how I had COVID and everything, and like how I was feeling now, and I was like, I didn't die when I got it. Like, I was not. It
Yeah,
wasn't
guys.
my worst.
COVID is just the flu, all right? You don't even have to worry about it.
It's like not. It's not even that as bad as the flu.
It's not as bad as it used to was, but when it was the
Yeah.
beginnings, it was a pretty bad time.
Oh yeah, but that's when the conservatives really didn't care.
The
Yeah.
conservatives still don't care, just to make that clear.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, no,
Hey,
they
did
don't.
we decide
they
on
never
an order
did. They
for
never
tonight?
will.
We did.
We did.
What's the order?
Zach's gonna go first because his story is a bit heavy,
Order up.
like in terms of how much it has.
Yeah. He's got that heavy whipping cream.
How?
Got the heavy whipping
Yeah.
cream.
How long is your story?
I have 2 stories,
Oh,
and they're
Okay.
both kind of small. I guess
Okay,
it depends
so
on how fast I speak them.
I guess you could go last. You haven't gone last in a while.
Fine. I'll be the caboose. Yeah, that's
caboose.
You can be the
that's fine. Lynn.
caboose.
I have
Cool.
not. It has been a while since I've gone in the rear.
name your sex tape.
And it'll probably be a while before I ever do it again, if I ever find love. Okay, hang on. Let me just write that down so that I can see it.
What the finding love part? Or
But yeah, that too. That part too is important for me to type out so that I can look at it the entire time that we're...
yeah, I think it'll happen.
I don't think so. I don't
I mean,
go
eventually.
anywhere. I don't do anything. I'm not exciting. I'm not fun. Guys, if you're listening, the fact of the matter is, I am probably the most confident person like I've ever met. Well, that's not true because I've met more confident people, but like, I'm a good guy. The thing is, I just don't go places.
I mean, like, that's the hard
I'm never
part,
going to
'cause, like,
find anyone if all I'm doing is sitting on my couch watching TV.
I luckily have a person, but like, I don't go anywhere either. Like, I go to work and I go to the gym.
Zach's
So, like, I
person
feel you
has
there.
been winking at me a lot recently, and it's kind of weirding me out.
She like told me, she's like, Liz was like, should I just like send Matt a text, like a wink? And I was like, do you want his number? I have it. I would give it to you right now. I think this is hilarious.
It was I literally just I had already been asleep. Like, I woke up at like 1:00 or whatever on New Year's Day, because that's when she texted me, and it had been at like 11 fucking something that she sent me a wink, and I was just like, who the fuck is this? And then I connected to my data so that I could text the group and say Happy New Year at like 1 o'clock in my sleep delirious state, and that's when it auto-filled with her name, and I was like, oh, okay, got it.
See, I think it's so funny because I mentioned that she did that, and then she turned the corner in our apartment and like gave me a wink, which you know how good she does at that.
Yeah, she's terrible at winking. Guys, I just want you to know that Zach's partner, Liz, winks with the entire side of her face. Whatever side of her face she's winking on, she moves the whole side.
It's a whole effort, you know?
If you ever played that game in school where you had to, like, wink to indicate that somebody was, like, dead or something, and then you had to figure out who the phantom winker was, you could have found Liz in no time.
Like 2 seconds.
But it is 9:30, so we should get started.
Probably.
I'm ready.
I will allow our good friend Meghan to count us in whenever she deems herself ready.
And then I wait another 15 minutes.
In complete silence.
Oh my god.
She's just meditating for 15 minutes.
Yeah, I'm like, I gotta bring myself together to do this. 3, 2, 1, go. Today in history, in 2001, Apple introduced iTunes, a digital media player application that, with the years later debut of the iPod, revolutionized digital music.
Welcome to What the Fuck History, where we discuss the wackiest and weirdest things that make us say, well, what the fuck history. I'm your host, Zachary, and I'll be your huckleberry.
My name is Meghan, and my newfound romance book obsession has led me into the Omegaverse. For those of you that know, you know.
And I'm Matt. My Today I Learned was taught to me by Zach's partner Liz when she sent me a text at near midnight to say, do you know that tax day is on April 15th because it's the same day the Titanic sunk and the people thought it would be easier for Americans to remember? To which I replied, did you know that the pool of the Titanic is still full?
It is still full.
It is still full.
It is still full.
She also...
It's hard to empty.
I just need the people to know that the way that Liz sent me that text, first of all, it was fucking 11:56 when she sent me the text. And she sent me the text, and the first thing that it said was, Happy January 6th! And I immediately questioned your choice in women because I thought she was celebrating the sacking of the Capitol in the American... But no, she was. I think
Maybe
she was just saying.
Maybe...
I think that was just her saying hello.
Yeah,
and I was like,
what if Liz is a sleeper agent?
I was like, what a weird way to say hello. And then I called her out. I was like, way to say happy 6th 4 minutes before the 7th.
Well, that's okay. She turned to me as she was sending that, and after she sent the message about the Titanic, and she's like, is it funnier if I send him a boat and then an iceberg, or a boat and then an ice cube? And I was like, an ice cube. Go with an ice cube.
Yeah, and then I told her the other crucial part of the Titanic story, which is that the only reason they ran into an iceberg is because the binoculars were locked in a safe.
And they couldn't get it open?
They couldn't get it open. The captain had the key.
You gotta keep him safe.
Nobody could find the captain. Fuck, dude.
Maybe he was getting it. Maybe he was fucking. Like,
he might have been. He might have been fucking someone in or steaming up the windows of a carriage.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is, like, we'll never know because he's dead.
He is dead for sure. He was supposed to go down with the ship.
Because
he was going down on something. That's for sure.
Now.
He was going down on something, and that's fact. That's a historical fact.
Guys, you heard it here first. The captain of the Titanic made the ship go down because he was going down on someone else. You don't have to check in with that. You can just bring that right to the bank. You can talk about it in history class if you're still in school. All right, listeners,
Honestly,
we have
bring it
reset
up.
our strikes to 0, and we've played a completely illusory game of rock, paper, scissors. And tonight, the order is Zach, followed by Meghan, and I am the caboose.
Yes, indeed.
The noble caboose.
Indeed. The noble caboose.
The noble caboose.
Without
if you couldn't
me,
tell.
the train doesn't have a butt.
That's true.
Jeez. Okay, and on that note,
And on that
Folks.
bombshell, it's time to end.
folks, I am not sure if you as the audience, or even if you, Matt and Megan, are aware of this, but I fucking love the movie Tombstone.
Yes.
It is by far one
think
of
we
the
were.
greatest pieces of film ever made. I feel like there has to be something, like, not okay with Tombstone, because just the fact that it was made in the early 90s, like, something feels awful about it, but I love it nonetheless.
That's
Like-
okay. You can like what you like.
Like, it's one of those things that just because of the decade that it was made, I feel like there's something bad about it, but I can't pinpoint what it is. It just
There's
seems good to me.
nothing bad about it, first of all.
Okay, all right. I feel
Secondly,
vindicated.
I do know how much you love this movie, and I'll explain how I know. Listeners, this is a very short story, but get comfy all the same. Zach, one day, I was home for whatever reason, and I posted in our combined D&D chat and said, I think I'm gonna watch Tombstone. And from my house, I could hear Zach, who lived in Boston at the time, go, "Do it!" And then I did. And then I fell in love with Val Kilmer. So
So, I love that, and definitely a true story, but I think that's funny because I think I watch Tombstone like 3 times a year.
yeah,
At this
fair.
point, like,
Fair enough.
it's constantly like, I'll like be browsing through something, and whatever like streaming service I have that it's on, I just go, oh, what if I just watch Tombstone again?
Oh shit, that's on. That's like
That's
Tyler
on.
and the Lord of the Rings.
Yeah,
He
but
loves Lord of the Rings.
I love the Lord of the
he,
Rings, too.
I feel like he climbs to the I feel like he climbs to the top of that mountain multiple times a year.
yes. I love the Lord of the Rings, but I need to be like, that is a journey, and I need to be ready for that journey. Like, Tombstone is a 2.5 hour jaunt. Like, it's not a short trip, but it's like a trip I can take and not be like, all right, whatever. Lord of the Rings, I have to watch the extended editions, so that means 3 days is out the window.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, I can watch Tombstone in one sitting,
Yeah.
but
I mean,
yeah,
it helps
I
that
watched
there also
Tombstone.
aren't Tombstone sequels to like.
yeah, exactly. Like, that story wraps up at the end.
Yeah, we should continue.
Yeah, and again, I definitely watch Tombstone like 2 to 3 times a year, and I think that informs you a lot about me as a person. And if it does, well, buckle up, partner, because it's about to get wild tonight. Because the best part of the movie, as Matt alluded to, by far, is Val Kilmer as Doc Holliday. Val's performance in this movie and him as Jim Morrison makes up for him playing Batman 100 times over. This man can commit no cinema sins, in my opinion. Like, he's perfect.
Maybe I
love
should
him.
watch it.
But with that pontificate...
Like, you're selling it.
What?
You're selling it. Like, maybe I should watch it.
You've never
Megan,
seen
the fact that
Tombstone?
you haven't seen Tombstone is frankly criminal.
It's criminal. It's a shame. We're gonna
I've
stop
never
the
seen it.
podcast. And we're gonna
Straight
go
to
watch
jail.
that movie, and then we'll resume.
Okay, well, we'll stop the podcast. I'll watch Tombstone, and we'll come back 2.5 hours later.
No, you should definitely watch it, and then like tell us your opinion.
Tell us
for
your
sure,
opinion.
though.
Tell us your thoughts.
Yeah.
But
what if I hate it?
Honestly, if you hate it, we're disbanding this podcast.
Okay.
No, I wouldn't put it that far, but I will. It will be a stain on your character. I'm not gonna lie.
Damn.
It's
Oh my God.
It's a movie you can't hate. It's really good.
It's really good.
You're like putting a lot of pressure on
Look,
it.
Almost
You know what?
as
It's
much
gonna live
pressure
up
as
to it.
anybody puts on the original Star Wars, or Indiana Jones, or Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
No, it's a good movie. I think you'll enjoy it.
Yeah, it's very good.
Okay.
But with the pontification and movie recommendations over, I do want to talk about Doc Holliday, because the level of he just has this level of hitting the fuck it button that I aspire to. It is beautiful. His life was a fucking whirlwind and amazing. So a little bit of a short aside. I was talking to my therapist the other day and about how much I took a bunch of TVs from a corporation because fuck corporations. And she was like, I didn't expect this level of deviancy from you. And I was like, lady, get ready, because I strive to be a silly little goose who chooses chaos. And that is just what Doc Holliday did with his life all the time.
Like, what do you mean you didn't expect it? Like, leave me alone.
Like, we've been having sessions for like over a month now. You should know I'm a deviant little goose.
Yeah, like, have you not been listening? Like, who are you?
I'm silly. I'm just in my pond being silly. So, getting really back on track here, John Henry Holliday was born August 14th, 1851, which, of course he was. He has such big Leo energy. As a Leo myself, I feel you, homie. The world is, in fact, your stage, and everybody else is a bit player. They better get with the fucking program.
God. The Leo energy is so strong.
It is so strong. Not a whole lot important happens early in John Holliday's life, except that his mother and his sister both get and die of tuberculosis when John is 15.
Yeah, I mean,
Hell yeah.
but like par for the course.
I mean, it's significant, but it's not like a lot to go into. Some people die. It's the 1850s, you know, people die a lot. And at the age of 21, John earns a degree in dentistry from the Pennsylvania College of Dental Surgery, which is why they call him Doc, and is absolutely definitive proof that, yes, dentists are doctors.
Yeah, I mean, I can't do
think
dentist.
dentistry was just giving someone a hammer and a chisel.
No, there was actually a lot of, like, things that he did. Like, there's at one point, I didn't go into detail because I didn't think it was, like, that important about his dental career, but, like, he wins a bunch of awards at some point for, like, helping make vulcanized rubber that's better for, like, helping, like, with patients, and he gets, like, an award for, like, the best crown or something. It's, like, a tooth replacement. It's wild.
Wow, what an interesting award that dentists make up for themselves.
Special made-up
They're
dentist
like,
awards.
oh, we'll win this. Ah, yes, another dentist.
Good dentist.
Good dentistry, dentist.
Dentist,
Doctor,
dentist,
doctor.
Doctor.
Dentist.
He grew up in Georgia, and he stays in Georgia, and he sets up a dental practice pretty early on after college, but he doesn't really get very far in his dental practice because he develops one hell of a cough that doesn't go away, and oops, all tuberculosis happens to Doc Holliday at the ripe old age of 21.
Damn.
Yeah, he had been like taking care of his mother and
escape that
sister
shit.
while they had tuberculosis, and then he got it, and it kind of laid dormant for like 6 years, and then it was like, oops, here you go.
I love it when that happens.
That's kind of crazy.
Right. And Doc, not being one to take anything laying down, says, fuck it, I'm gonna move to the Southwest because clearly the lingering dampness of Georgia ain't doing nothing for my shitty lungs.
Sometimes you got shitty lungs.
What?
Sometimes you just got shitty lungs.
Sometimes
you
you
know?
you
need
just
to
got
go
shitty
by the
lungs.
sea.
Which, like, I think it's so funny
That's
with,
true.
like, tuberculosis, where, like, some doctors are like, go live by the ocean, that'll be good for you, and other doctors are like, go live in the desert, it's dry, it'll be good for you. Like,
Yeah.
pick one.
I think mostly it's
wonder
just
which
like,
one's
where would
better.
you die happier?
Yeah, we don't have hospice care in 1850, so like, where do you want to die, bro?
The sea or the
He's like,
desert?
I don't know.
Pick your poison.
Yeah, pick your poison. Doc ends up moving towards Texas, and in good consciousness, he can't really keep up with a dental practice due to his illness, which is really bad at the time. And so he starts a new career. And any guesses on what that career is?
He shoots people for
didn't
fun
watch-
and money.
No,
I
not
didn't
quite.
watch Tombstone.
That's why you can guess without being without being influenced.
I don't know. I just feel like I don't know enough about this person. Like, this is the first time I'm learning about it.
Fair enough. Okay, so as a career, Doc Holliday decides to become a gambler because apparently gambling is a normal and reputable profession at this time.
Is it?
Which is great. Like, man, I hope when we get to our inevitable apocalypse, we don't go full Dark Ages. We just go back to the Old West so I can be a grifter and a drifter and a general hoodlum. And people will be like, oh, yeah, that totally checks out. Like, it's just Conan
tracks.
Johnson. He gambles and drinks and cheats people out of their money, and they love it for her. Like...
People are so happy.
People
that
are
this
so
is
happy
happening.
that to get swindled by Zachary Conan Johnson that they're just like, fuck it, I'll lose 100 bills to this motherfucker.
Zachary Conan Johnson. That's his real name.
You guys know how to call him out by his government now.
By my government, Conan Johnson. Anyway.
That's his name.
Between 1875 and 1877, Doc's life is mostly one big blur of moving, gambling, and fighting. With some notable highlights being Doc getting into a knife fight in Denver, Colorado, where he almost stabs a man to death before just upping and leaving. Hanging out in Deadwood for a bit, which was like the gold rush town at the time. Moving to Breckenridge, Texas, where he gets into a fight with a man who he beats the shit out of with his walking stick, you know, like a gentleman.
Of course.
Okay, well, what was that guy doing? Being an asshole?
Yeah, they're just being an asshole, and Doc Holliday was like, I'm a gentleman and a scholar, so I'm gonna beat the shit out of you with this fancy cane. And the guy later was a little perturbed about being wrapped around the head with a piece of wood, so he comes back a day later and shoots Doc Holliday so damn bad that everyone thought he was dead.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert, Doc Holliday's like, I'm not letting the consumption take me. Do you think I'm gonna let your NPC ass take me out? Fuck you, I'm still
Your
alive.
NPC.
And after recovering from, you know, almost being shot to death, Doc moves to Fort Griffin, Texas, where he meets Big-Nosed Kate, who is wonderful. I love Big-Nosed Kate so much. She is his equal in so many ways, and then some. Big-Nosed Kate
interesting name.
was a highly educated woman who was amazingly brilliant and, like, again, ridiculously smart and ridiculously educated. And she chose to be a prostitute because, according to her, she valued her independence.
Good for her.
Yes, queen.
Like, hell yeah, lady. I love that for you. She was also the only woman Doc Holliday ever had a relationship with. He fell hard for that woman, and he never looked back.
When you know, you know, you know.
When you know, you know, you know?
Yeah.
And
It's
he
nice
knew.
to hear about good old fashion romance.
Yeah, right? Like, their romance in many occasions was very toxic because, you know, it's the Old West, and Doc
'Cause
Holliday is a
tuberculosis.
riling drunk. Yeah, he's dying of
Tuberculosis is mostly
tuberculosis,
to blame.
and he's a roaring drunk. So, like, you know,
When you know,
he's
you
gotta have
know.
some. When you know, you know.
When you know, you know.
In all fairness, Big Nose Kate was also a roaring drunk.
All right.
So, in October of 1877, Doc Holliday meets Wyatt Earp for the first time. And Meghan, to illuminate you and also our listeners, who may not know, Wyatt Earp was a very famous Kansas City lawman who is most notable for being the Marshal of Kansas City and Wichita, I believe. Like, that general area. He was the U.S. Marshal for that area, and he was very good at his job. And Wyatt Earp and Doc Holliday meet because Wyatt Earp is chasing down a man by the name of Dirty Dave Rutabaga. Yeah, that's a real guy.
Yeah? That was his real name?
His real name is Dave Rutabaga, but everyone called him Dirty Dave Rutabaga.
That can't be his last name. That can't be his government name.
His name is Dave Rutabaga.
That's not... You can't keep saying it like it's normal.
Meghan.
It is. Like, I don't know
Dirty
what to tell
Dave
you.
Rutabaga.
Would you prefer Dave Dirty Rutabaga? Like, what do you want here?
It's the rutabaga for me.
It's the rutabaga for me.
Gotcha.
It's the rutabaga. That's throwing
That's
me.
the name of the episode. It's the rutabaga for me.
We gotta go. We gotta keep going.
Hold on.
We're
I
never
gotta
gonna get through this
down.
podcast.
We are gonna get through it. So he's chasing him down. Like, Wyatt Earp was like chasing this guy down, and he goes into a saloon and is like, "Hey, have you seen this motherfucker?" And the bartender's like, "I don't know. Go ask this drunk gambler in the corner." And Doc Holliday's like, "Yeah, I've seen him. I'll go get him for you."
Yeah.
And they make the arrest. It's great. And then Doc...
I've seen him.
I've seen him. I know this motherfucker. Doc moves to Dodge City, where Wyatt at the time was acting as the assistant city marshal. And at this point, Doc's like, fuck it, I guess I'll pick up dentistry again because gambling's not paying out that much.
I guess I'll be a dentist again.
I guess I'll be a dentist again. And it doesn't really work out that well. He doesn't get a lot of business, and he just starts gambling and drinking again. Which,
He probably just coughs in one patient's mouth, and they're like, fuck.
Well, at this time, he wasn't contagious.
They didn't say fuck. They didn't know anything about germs. They were like, thank you, senpai.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate that.
Good. I appreciate you ensuring my constitution is bettered.
That's doctor spit.
That's Dr. Spit. That'll heal you good.
That'll make you smart.
That's medical spit. You know, suck that in.
So the Cowboys are a gang that kind of operates in this area, and they're a bunch of fucking assholes. And
that sounds right.
that sounds right. So the Cowboy gang starts their shit across the Southwest, and eventually that shit turns up in Dodge City. And in late 1878, 24 cowboys, including two men by the names of Toby Driscoll and Ed Morrison, whom Wyatt had run out of town months prior, come running through Dodge City, shooting the place to high hell to try and draw out Wyatt Earp. Because they were like, hey, we don't like being called out on our bullshit, so we're going to murder you, but we're going to burn half the town first.
I also hate being called out on my bullshit.
Yeah, they're big assholes. And eventually the Cowboys head into the saloon and they start harassing customers and tossing the place. And Wyatt, kicks in the door and is ready to start trouble when 24 guns turn on him. And he's like, well, fuck. Okay, I guess.
I've made a mistake.
Yeah, but what the Cowboys didn't realize was Doc was sitting in the back of the room, rip-roaring drunk, and then he just, sneaks up behind Ed Morrison and sticks the barrel of the gun to the back of his head and says, all right, guys, don't do this. I'll kill all of you. I'm Doc fucking Holliday. It's like that meme of,
I don't understand
people...
where his, how did his dentistry give him so many balls?
I don't know, yeah, he's...
There's just, a disconnect, because, dentists now are just kind of, dweebs.
Yeah, what happened to, the ballsy dentist of Doc Holliday?
They're dweebs that make a lot of money.
They make a lot more money than I ever will, yeah.
No one wants to fuck a dentist, you know what I'm saying?
I don't know that I do.
Meghan, I love your hot takes. The other night when you said that, What's her name? Fucking from The Grinch.
Oh, Martha May Whovier?
That Martha May Whovier fucks. I was like, okay, all right. I know you're like, no one wants to fuck a dentist. Like, your takes are great. I need them all the time.
I appreciate it. Thank you. I just but am I wrong?
You're
I
not
just don't.
wrong.
I've never fucked a dentist.
Everyone's
I don't
like,
know.
I think in terms of doctors, at the top is that are most fuckable is probably neurology and cardiology, and then dentists and podiatrists and urologists are somewhere down at the bottom.
Okay,
Yeah,
you're
that's
right.
exactly
I see
where
that.
a urologist wants to be, though.
Okay,
The nasty
yeah.
bastards.
So, Doc ends up saving Wyatt Earp's life in this instance, where he's like, yeah, no, I have the drop on all of you. It's just the meme of everyone in the church where someone's lined up behind another person with a...
I just want to say, if the audience could send us a message summing up what Zach's story was, if they managed to get through all of Zach's story, that'd be great, because we've gone off on so many side splits.
There's so...
No,
yeah.
I'm here. I know what Zach's story is about. I'm commenting.
It's about Doc Holliday.
It's about Doc Holliday.
Yeah, it's just about this guy's life.
He's wild.
I get it.
And so Doc and Wyatt become really good friends after Doc saves his life, basically. And they end up doing a lot of shenanigans together in the West. In December of 1878, Doc moves to Las Vegas, where he continues to gamble and be a general problem for society. He leaves on a few side quests, including the Royal George War, which was a pissing contest between two rival railroads. But eventually he just ends up coming back to Vegas. It's a lot of non-important side quests, I guess, in his life.
Yeah, that's fair.
But he makes a lot of money, and he just goes back to Vegas and is like, fuck it. I'll go back to gambling. It's what I love. if you do what you love, you never work a day in your life.
That's not the solution.
Yeah. And at the time, Las Vegas... Sorry, continue.
No, that's just not oh, I've made money. Let me go back and let's gamble again.
Yeah. I guess. If you got the money, do it.
No, that's exactly how you make money, Meghan. Come on, dude.
You gotta spend money to make money, Meghan.
Have you not read any book about business? The first rule of business is spend all your money gambling.
I read Rich.
I thought the first rule was to have a rich dad.
I know what I'm doing.
I thought it was to have a rich father.
Yes, have a rich father. Right. Spend all his money.
Exactly. So at the time in 1878, Las Vegas had outlawed gambling, which seems so counter.
Those bastards.
It doesn't make any sense, but Doc was.
It was a weird move.
It was a weird
whatever.
move, but okay, it didn't work out in the long run. Doc is still fine. You can outlaw it all you want. I'm still gonna fucking play cards and win everyone's money. And he ends up getting fined a lot of money for it, but he also just is really good at gambling, so he keeps making money. And in July of 1879, Doc is gambling and drinking when a man by the name of Mike Gordon comes in absolutely drunk and is trying to convince an old girlfriend to leave Las Vegas with him. And she's like, no, I don't want to do that. And Mike gets rough with her before he's forced to leave the bar. To which Holiday follows him outside, and then, ooh, what's this? Mike Gordon ended up dead in the streets? Weird how that happens.
He tripped.
He tripped. Yeah, it was an
absolutely
he tripped on the curb.
It absolutely was a he tripped moment. He tripped and somehow had 3 bullets in the back of his head. I don't know how that happens. And so Doc Holliday continues to putz around Las Vegas for a bit until he gets a call from his good friend Wyatt Earp. And he's like, hey, my brothers and I are moving out to Tombstone because Tombstone is the next boom town, and we think we can make a lot of money there. We're heading there. We hope to see you there. And Holiday moves to Tombstone with Wyatt Earp and his brothers, which leads up to the famous shooting at the OK Corral. ... something I will discuss next time because it deserves its own episode.
I can't believe this. I was so into this.
Like, it's the best part is this is the preamble before shit gets wild.
We can't keep letting him get away with this.
I know.
Next episode, I will talk about the OK Corral because it is such a good fucking. It's wild.
He can't keep getting away with this. But at the same time, we have been recording for 45 minutes.
Yeah. I yield my time.
I yield the rest.
I yield my time.
I yield my time.
I yield the floor. Unfortunately, my story is also like kind of long, but I will try to steamroll it a little bit.
Okay.
I'll do it. So my story is called "The Queen of Yeehaw Herself."
Hell yeah.
Oh, that's right. I just remembered the video I recorded this morning, and you're talking about our Lord and Savior.
Yeah, I am talking about our Lord and Savior. So our Lord and Savior is the Queen of Yeehaw and Broken Hearts tonight, my girl, Dolly Parton.
Hell yeah.
Now, we all know her.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah.
How could you not?
Like, we all know her. How could you not know
who Dolly
the Queen?
Parton is?
Like, there's honestly no reason for me to introduce her because she's like arguably a cultural icon, and she has her own theme park that has like $200 apple pie that I didn't get when I was in Tennessee because I didn't go to Dolly World.
Why didn't you go to Dolly World?
If I come to visit Tennessee with you this year, we're going to Dolly World.
Yes.
I think I just didn't go because there was a lot of other things. Like, I had limited time, and I was like, and it was expensive.
Yeah.
And the only reason I wanted to go was for the pie.
Okay.
So, and the pie was expensive. And I think, like, it's only, $19 a slice, but that's still a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot.
It's a lot. But, I think we all know, like, surface level about her, but tonight I'm gonna sort of, like, do a deeper dive into, like, someone who is still alive, but is someone who is very much a part of American history. So we're gonna start off strong. Dolly's full name is Dolly Rebecca Parton.
Now you know how to call her out by her government, listeners.
Her government name, it's true. She was born January 19th, 1946. On the banks of the... I know, 1946. World War II had just ended, and it's because she was born.
I have no information
Way to refute that. Yeah.
Listen, I'm just saying, as soon as the new year hits, she's born? Suspicious. She's born on the banks of the Little Pigeon River in Tennessee, and the world needed something good to look forward to after we obliterated Japan, so here she was. She was the fourth of 12 children, and her middle name comes from her great-great-grandmother.
Okay.
Her great-great-grandmother.
My great-great-grandmother gave me my middle name as well.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, what is
I'm not gonna put that out there. I do not need people calling me by my government in the streets.
Oh, okay.
People where I work already call me Matthew, and that alone infuriates me.
Yeah. I get that. If you're like, I don't like being called my full name, and someone calls you your full name, it's fucking aggravating.
Well, it's not so bad
and
when
they
it's like a
insist on it,
70-year-old woman. And she's like, oh, Matthew. And it's like, okay, that's fine. You're good. But when it's like one of the residents who knows that I don't like being called Matthew, and they look me right in the face and go, hey, Matthew. And I'm like, hey,
Matthew.
Let's practice respect.
Let's not do that before I break you.
I must break
you. I don't want to be called by my full name.
Please don't government me.
Don't government me.
Don't government me. I am ungovernable.
So, I used to, like, not tell people my middle name. I don't know why. because it's like not bad and no one was ever gonna use it.
I mean, I can't say
Like-
anything. I don't tell people my middle name.
I don't know why it was so weird. It was like such a trend when we were younger where it's just like, I can't tell you my middle name. You have to guess. And it's just like, okay, well, that doesn't make you an anime protagonist.
It
Like,
made me one.
The
I
difference,
guess, like, what's your,
difference is that I
what's your
don't-
middle name? Like Orochimaru? Like, like,
my God.
oh wait, I forgot. We still haven't done the Naruto
Yeah,
deep dive.
no,
You don't know
I've
who
got
that
no
is.
clue. You've
Yeah,
said
sorry.
words. They sounded like fun
I've said
sounds.
words. I am going to say more words about Dolly Parton.
Please do.
So her father was a sharecropper in East Tennessee and then tended his own small tobacco farm and was also a construction worker. So he had a lot of jobs and he was still poor somehow. He couldn't read, but Parton has said that he was one of the smartest people she has ever known when it came to business and making a profit. And she also says that like her music ability came from her mother, who would tell her children Smoky Mountain folklore and ancient ballads that were like passed down through her family because her family came from Wales.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, which I thought was super interesting. Her family moved from where Dolly was born, which was Pittman Center, to a place called Locust Ridge. And this is all still in East Tennessee. They're just like different like little towns. And her moving to Locust Ridge is where the song My Tennessee Mountain Home comes from. Unfortunately, her dad had to sell the farm when times kind of got hard. Again, he had like 12 kids.
Yeah.
So I assume times were always hard.
I don't see how that could be the
Like-
case.
What?
Having 12 kids shouldn't make
what?
your life harder.
It's a lot of
That's
mouths
true.
to feed, my
It's
dude.
free labor, right?
Can you imagine? Okay, look.
It's just free
On
labor.
a completely different note, could you imagine someone willingly having 12 children in today's day and age?
No.
No.
Well,
Having to put
the Mormons
12
do.
kids through college?
Absolutely
I don't know
not.
if the Mormons... Do the Mormons do that?
College?
They go to Brigham Young University, I guess, but that's more like a dating center than an institution.
Mormons live a different lifestyle. I'm talking about the layman. I'm talking about any normal person. Do you think, and I'm not calling, guys, I want to be very clear, because if you're listening and you're Mormon, I don't want you to think that I'm trashing your religion. What I'm saying is that you guys, there's a whole different lifestyle that's associated with Mormonism. But like...
Yeah, you guys you're a different breed.
You guys are a different breed. You get sent out away from home at like 5 years old, and people are forced to call you elder.
Yeah, and you like soaking, and that's just weird.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm just saying, like,
So
could anyone today afford having 12 kids?
No, absolutely not.
yeah, well, I mean, apparently they had to sell the farm because they couldn't. But when Dolly started making money, she bought the farm back in the 80s and restored it with the help of one of her brothers, which
Oh, fuck yeah.
What a good dude.
I thought was really, I thought was really cute. But even as you're sort of gathering, like, her family was not rich, even though she's like rich as shit now.
Yeah.
And her family was poor to the point where her dad paid a missionary doctor with a sack of cornmeal to deliver her.
Oh my God.
Like, he was like, thanks for the baby.
Love
Here's
the
a
good
sack.
old barter system.
Yeah, I get a baby and you get some cornmeal. Thanks for your help.
That's the makings of a
didn't need
country
this
song
other
right there.
baby.
Dolly!
That's amazing. God damn! We gotta write this down for her later. So the cabin that they also lived in was one room, and this is keeping in mind that she had like way too many siblings. So I also don't understand, if the cabin was one room, how did her mom and dad keep making more siblings?
I gotta be honest with you.
But-
Industrial grade earplugs.
Maybe they stuck the cornmeal in their ears. I don't know.
Those kids just
They're
pretended.
just like-
Those kids just pretended they didn't hear a thing.
Well, especially like when they got to kid number 12.
But it was
right?
also
It's
like
you got 11 other.
It was back in a time when women
11
weren't
kids in here?
allowed to enjoy sex.
Oh, okay, so it was silent.
Silent, completely silent. It was just
Completely
them doing their
silent.
duty.
Yeah, that's true. There was like absolutely no lubrication involved, so not even like slapping noises. So the way that she got her start in music.
Such a take. I'm not ready for half the shit that Meghan says.
I don't understand. You guys have known me for a while now.
Yeah.
The way that she got her start in music was actually singing in the church.
Oh.
She was brought up in the Church of God in a congregation that her grandfather pastored. And at 7,
Nepotism.
she started playing a homemade guitar, which I don't know what that means.
It was made at home. They whittled
I
it themselves.
guess, like out of wood or like a Kleenex box with like elastics.
They didn't have elastics
Like-
at that time.
That's I know that's
Rubber
rich
hadn't
people
been
stuff.
invented.
Rubber wasn't invented in the South.
Clearly,
Guys.
there were 12 children.
Guys, I'm joking. Rubber did exist. Cars were a thing.
That's
I'm not
true.
doing a
had-
history podcast and being completely dumb.
Yeah, guys, the West had already devastated the Congo. Like, come on.
Guys.
Come on, guys.
And at 8 years old, after her homemade guitar, her uncle bought her a real one. So at this point, she could get like better at music. And once she was really getting good, she started singing on a local radio and TV programs in Eastern Tennessee. And by the age of 10, she was appearing on them in the bigger city of Knoxville, which, since I've been to Tennessee, I realized like her home wasn't actually that far from Knoxville. Like, it gets pretty rural pretty fast outside of the city limits.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's jarring sometimes.
That's the West.
So that's the South,
Yeah, no, the South.
Appalachia.
The South, the West, it's all the truth. Like, I don't know.
It's all the
It'll
same.
all do the
it's
same
on the same
thing.
plane.
You leave a town and you're
all
instantly
do
in a
the-
desert.
Yeah, you're instantly in the fucking woods. So at 13, she recorded a single with a small label out of Louisiana, and she actually appeared in the Grand Ole Opry, where she met Johnny Cash, who encouraged her to follow her own instincts regarding her career. And if I was a teenage girl hearing Johnny Cash giving me encouragement, I also would have listened to that forever.
Yeah.
Because he has such a sultry voice.
Because he's fucking Johnny Cash.
And-
Like,
He's fucking Johnny Cash, dude. Like, what a legend.
yeah.
And so after Johnny Cash, made her into a woman by just talking to her, she graduated high school in 1964 and then moved to Nashville because that's what everyone who wants to sing country does. You move to Nashville for some reason.
Nashville, the country music capital of the United States,
The country music capital of the world. And her initial success was actually not as a singer, but as a songwriter. And a lot of her songs were sung by other people and made it to the top 10
Damn.
of country music. I know. Like, she's young at this point.
Yeah.
Like, she's straight out of high school writing top 10 songs. However, when she signed on with Monument Records in 1965, they pitched her as a bubblegum pop singer because of her high voice.
Oh, fuck that.
They were... I know.
And she
and-
immediately stomped on them.
Well, she tried to. Like, she tried to push back, and she was like, well, everything that I've been writing has been country. I'd really love to sing country. And they were like, no, we are record men.
We know best.
know yeah, like, we know what's good, like, we know what's gonna sell. They finally relented when she wrote a song and helped with the harmony on it. She was uncredited, but after the song went to number 6 in the country, the label was like, oh, well, I mean, like, we'll give you a shot on the country. I guess. Sure. And her first 2 songs went to, like, number 24 and number 17 on the country chart. So, like, that's not bad.
No.
Like, she's doing pretty well for herself, like, kind of out of the gate. And during the late 60s and 70s, she was on a weekly syndicated TV program called The Porter Wagoner Show.
Yep.
And the audience originally didn't like her. And it took a while for them to warm up to her. And it was only with the help of Porter Wagoner himself that she was able to do it. And they did this when they started releasing duets together, and all of those duets reached the top 10.
Yeah.
And this didn't mean that she was like an immediate solo success. For 2 years, she tried to release solos, and none of them were as popular as her duets, which was frustrating for like both her and like Porter Wagoner, who was really trying to help her. Like, he believed in her. And it wasn't until 1971 that she got her first number 1 single after years of recording.
Jeez.
But then Jolene hits the airwaves.
Hey.
And Jolene hits, and people went feral for it. Like,
As well they
should.
should. That song is a fucking bop.
Ugh.
I know, it's a
Also,
really good song.
If you consider how attractive Dolly Parton was back in the day, and even to some nowadays,
I was about to say, you
How
fixed that
terrifying.
fucking statement.
how terrifying
I
must
know.
Jolene have been?
I know, right?
I don't know, she's like,
She was a
She's like a
biblically
biblical
accurate
angel.
angel.
I know, people are like falling on their knees, being like, Jolene, please.
She was like, be not afraid, and then just blinding light came from her.
I know, it's like that picture, because like we sent that picture a while ago to the group chat of like Dolly Parton fucking like corset,
Yeah.
like back in the 70s.
Yeah.
Looking hot as hell.
And you're like, she's hot as hell, and I bet she can make like a mean pan of biscuits.
Oh, hell yeah. I bet.
If she didn't come out
I
of the
bet she-
womb knowing how to make a mean pan of biscuits,
Pan of biscuits.
I'd be
I
surprised.
know, like, I just like don't know what she can't do.
That's what she was
Nothing.
doing while her parents were fucking. Wait, she was the last one, right? So
No, she was the 4th.
she was the first. Did I mishear that?
No, she was the 4th.
The fourth. My bad.
No, 4th.
Okay, got you. I don't know where the fuck
she was
I.
like, she's in the middle, like, ish.
middle middle first.
So she had a. Yeah,
then
she
there was
had a lot of.
then there was a middle and a middle last.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So Jolene not only was in the top country 10, but it reached the top 100, and it charted also internationally in the UK.
Damn.
And this was around the time that she stopped appearing on the Wagner show, even though she like was still working with him in terms of music. It was just time for her to take off by herself.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, Jolene was such a hit. And in 1974, her song I Will Always Love You went to number 1, and then Elvis came knocking.
Fucking
Yeah.
Elvis.
And
Fucking Elvis.
I know, Elvis was just like, I want to record it. And Dolly was interested. I mean, it was Elvis, but his manager was like, okay, well, in order for Elvis to record this, you have to sign over half of the publishing rights because this is Elvis. Like, he wants to make money off of
Because
it.
Colonel Parker was a fucking piece of shit.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, that was his manager.
Like,
He was an
yes.
awful human being.
I know. Yeah, like, I was reading about him, and I was just like, this is, like, such a shitty thing to do to someone who's, like, just starting to make it big.
Yeah.
Like, and he was really insistent on it, and I assume the ghost of Johnny Cash, like, came down. It was like, don't do this, girly pop. Like, don't sign away. Like,
I mean, Johnny Cash was
sign away
still
the rights
alive
to that
at this
song.
point.
well, his astral projection.
Yeah, he astral
He came
projected
from
and
the
was like,
future.
don't do this. Yeah.
Yeah, he came from the future when he was dead
Yeah.
to tell her don't do it. So she followed Johnny Cash's advice and followed her instincts, and this decision is credited with helping her make millions of dollars in royalties just by the fact that she kept the rights to this song.
Damn.
And what's also interesting is that in 2019, Parton found an old cassette tape and realized, like, via the recordings on it, that she wrote both Jolene and I Will Always Love You in one night.
Oh my god.
Shit.
Fucking divine inspiration.
Yeah, she's like listening to this set tape, and in the interview she's like, yeah, that was a pretty good night, I guess.
Jesus Christ.
And I was like, yep, that's a really great night, I guess. So in the 70s and late 80s, Dolly begins transitioning into pop, and it was during this time that she won a Grammy, and pretty much all of her songs were getting into the top 40.
Yeah.
And she also never, like, she was also, like, never not busy with TV appearances, interviews, and writing, which is, what is crazy is that, like, in the mid-80s, when her record sales were still really high, her record label, like, didn't renew her contract after it expired, so she signed on with Columbia. And I'm not really sure why RCA, like, didn't renew her, because she was,
Yeah.
like, at the height of her fame.
It seems pretty dumb.
So Columbia sort of, like, it's really, really dumb, because, like, over the next few decades, like, Columbia sort of got a lot of the sales that came with her, like, experimenting with bluegrass, like, her tours. She wrote, like, a bunch of holiday albums, like...
Oh, yeah.
She
And if
also,
Mariah Carey
yeah,
can
like,
attest to anything, it's that holiday
it
albums
makes a
will keep you in
lot
the
of money.
business.
It makes a lot of fucking money. So then, of course, we have to turn to Dolly Parton's figure herself, which we've already touched upon a little bit.
I wish.
She... well, I wish.
That was fucking perfect.
So she turned down several offers to pose nude for Playboy, but did appear in one of their costumes on the cover in 1978. So there is a picture of Dolly Parton in a Playboy
Outfit.
bunny costume
Yeah.
somewhere on the internet.
Yes.
But I think, like, when we talk about Dolly Parton, we do think of boobs.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, yes.
Because how could you not?
Boobs are the things that you think about when you picture her. And if you remember, like, when we were in elementary school, there was a sheep that they cloned a while ago that they named Dolly.
Yeah.
And it was, like, one of the first animals that they had ever cloned. And the reason it was named Dolly is because it was named after her, because they took the cell from, like, a sheep's, like, breast gland.
Oh my god.
And that's why they called it Dolly. And there's also a bridge in Mobile, Alabama called the Dolly Parton Bridge because the arches look like her titties.
That's fucking hilarious.
That's great news.
I know. Oh, and there's a battle tank that's also unofficially called the Dolly Parton because it has a thickened appearance of the turret frontal armor. And it looks like her titties. And the next generation of the tank is called the Super Dolly Parton.
The Super Dolly Parton.
It's the Super Dolly Parton mech.
Oh my god.
She does get a lot of plastic surgery, saying it takes a lot of money to look this cheap. And
I love her sense of humor. That is one of my favorite things about this woman.
I know. She's so, like, the whole time I was, like, reading about her, she's, like, very endearing. Like, she feels really genuine, even though she does look really cheap. And She has also entered into a Dolly Parton lookalike contest and lost.
Yeah.
That is my favorite thing in the world is like Christopher Reeves also did this when he played Superman. He entered a Superman contest and lost. And I think it's
that's crazy.
It's so
Hugh
fucking good when
Jackman
people do
walked
that.
around Comic-Con and people were like, "You're a little bit too tall." Like he was dressed as Wolverine and people were like, "You're too tall."
Yeah.
Great costume, but you're too tall to pull him off.
Yeah, sorry.
I just think
what
it's
do you mean
fucking
too
great
tall?
when that shit happens.
I know, right?
That don't worry, I am wrapping up. So she also said that she's like also really honest about like what she can and can't do. She can play a lot of instruments, but she says that she's not good at any of them. She just lays into it. She's like, I can do
If you can't play good,
she's
play
like,
loud.
Yeah.
Just right?
Yeah, she's like, I just fucking go for it. She also has diversified her like earnings portfolio in terms of like owning a lot of different business ventures, like in Pigeon Forge, which is like the Las Vegas of Tennessee. It's built up because of her, because of Dollywood.
Yeah.
And I've actually been to a show called Dolly Parton Stampede, which is a dinner show where they do trick riding and silk dancing. And there are bison for some reason, and you get a whole rotisserie chicken for dinner.
Hell yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, it was great. It was amazing. So she also still acts and has been on TV and movies. She even tried to have her own TV show. She is married, and I think her marriage is like really endearing. Her husband's name is Carl Thomas Dean, and they were married in Georgia. He's a Tennessee boy, but he doesn't like publicity, and he's retired from running an asphalt road paving business.
Oh my god.
Like,
Papa?
he's just a guy. And Dolly has joked that he's only seen her perform once, but she's also said that while it seems like they don't spend a lot of time together, it's just that nobody ever sees him publicly. He's like a cryptid.
I love that for him. That is like a vibe.
Yeah. It's such a vibe. He's just like, yeah, that's my extroverted witch wife, and I'm just like,
I'm just over here, man. I'm just, yeah.
He's just like a house. He doesn't have to work, so I assume he just like does projects around the house.
That's so fucking great. I love that.
Yeah. He does do really romantic things for her, like write her poems, and Dolly has said that they are really proud of their marriage and that it's the first and last for both of them.
Oh my god.
And
Adorbs.
I know.
Cray
Stop.
adorbs.
I know. They never had children of their own, but they helped raise a lot of their nieces and nephews, and they all call them Uncle Peepaw and Aunt Granny.
Nice.
God.
And I don't know, it's just funny. And she's also the godmother to Miley Cyrus.
Yes,
Yeah.
I knew that.
And
Yeah.
yes, we knew that. And then to wrap it up, there's her, like, giving money to people. She is genuinely a good person dedicated to literacy through the Dollywood Foundation, most notably the Imagination Library that honors her dad because he couldn't read, so, like, she wanted to help kids learn.
Yeah.
And what this does is it mails one book a month to each enrolled kid from the time of their birth to when they enter kindergarten. And it's donated over 100 million books. And then, like, that's not even counting what she dedicates to, like, the American Red Cross, like, hospitals, cancer research, PETA, like, the American Eagle Foundation. She kind of does it all.
Gave us a COVID
And I guess,
vaccine.
like, I've already gone. Yeah, like, and I could sit here and talk about her all night, but overall, like, the Queen of Yeehaw and the Backwoods Barbie, like, is something that we should all try to channel.
Yeah. Abso-fucking-lutely. Oh, she's so good.
But I know, she's just so good. Like, her marriage is honestly so nice.
Yeah.
Like, I think about it a lot, where, like, you can have a really fulfilling life and not always, like, be with your partner, but, like, meet at the end of the day and be like, hey, like, how are you?
Well, it's
Like,
it's funny. Like, you can be two very different people and still have a successful partnership. And I think that that's awesome.
and
like, to show that very much,
it is.
you know?
I know. I really like it. So I know that it's getting late, like long in the tooth. So why don't we move on to you, Matt?
Oh yeah, great.
Yeah, sorry.
Matt. Oops.
I've been waiting for this all night.
I know. It's only 10:30.
Okay, shut up. I'm gonna do this. All right, so
Shut up. I can't.
as I mentioned in the recording that we sent out to Patreon, I have a story about rats, and I also mentioned that there might be 2 stories about rats. My notes have 2 stories, so I'm going to tell the 2 stories, but I'm also going to tell it fast because my friends ate up a lot of the airtime. I love them.
I know.
In case you didn't know.
We did. We did eat up a lot of it.
So we have 2 tiny rat stories. Sit down and enjoy
Tiny
them,
rat.
friends. The first comes to us from our least favorite place. Does everyone want to say it together?
New York.
France.
France.
In the
New
town
York.
of Autun, in the year 1522. The year before 1522, so 1521, had been rife with barley being destroyed by rats. My story is about rats, guys. You don't.
The French rats.
You don't need me to put these fucking puzzle pieces together. Now, a reasonable thing to do when rats steal and destroy your barley is to move on with your life and plant more barley and just go about your life.
No,
but what happened in 1522 is the people of this region of France decided instead that they were going to put the mice on trial. Yeah, nope.
Yeah.
They sued the mice. They sued.
Yeah, I mean, that's
I guess.
to what end?
Yeah, right.
The end was excommunication from the church.
Oh. Why are you saying it like you've done? Why are you embarrassed?
You're ashamed for them.
I feel that whole sentence is just so fucking cringe. Can you imagine? Just being like?
Can you imagine being so French and so cringe?
We're gonna put mice on trial.
We're gonna put these mice.
And they're gonna be.
We're gonna put these mice on trial.
If they're guilty, we're gonna excommunicate them.
From the church.
And like
The
and
actual.
the mice are sitting there. They're just like, "Who's Jesus?"
The actual term was. It's like anathematization, anathema,
Anathemization?
Yeah, that. Anyways, that's the official term, but like essentially, it meant that they'd be excommunicated.
Is it bad that all I can think about is that fucking skit from, like, I think it might have been, like, Funny or Die or whatever it is, with, like, the mice Jesus that they introduce in order to, like, get the mice out of the wall? Where it was, like, Holy War mice. Do you not remember this?
I don't remember this at all.
I will have to find a video of it and send it to you because it's fucking
If you can,
ridiculous.
please do, because it sounds delightful.
Yeah, the basic
so
premise is they introduce a mouse Jesus, and then later they introduce an Allah Jesus, an Allah mice to other ones, and they start a holy war between 2 separate groups of mice, and are like, "This is how we get rid of our rat problem."
That's hilarious.
It's awful, but it's funny.
So it's important to note that we here at What the Fuck History have talked about farcical trials before, where they put something on like an object or an animal or something on trial just because it would make people feel better. And this is a lot like that. But this one's different, and I'm gonna give. Do you guys want to guess how this one's different?
Because they actually went through with it and they meant it?
No, it's different in a different way. Megan, do you have a guess?
I just like how embarrassed you sound.
Have a guess about...
Are they just gonna execute them?
No, this
Did they
one's
lose
different.
the trial to the mice?
This one's different because they gave the rats a lawyer.
If you give a mouse a cookie and if you give a rat a lawyer.
I can't. It fucking hurts to say.
It's like one of the most embarrassing things I've ever heard.
Oh my god, they put the rats on trial and then gave them a lawyer.
You don't have to do that.
So
They didn't have to.
the official thing, the rats were accused of feloniously eating up and wanton destruction of barley crops. And as I mentioned, should the rats be found guilty in the case, they would be excommunicated from the church. The lawyer that was appointed to the case, I don't really know French and I don't know how to pronounce this, so I believe his name is... These are terrible French jokes. His name is like... I guess it's probably like Chasseneuil or something like that. It's Chasseneuz. I don't know how to speak French, and if you do, keep it to yourself. So a date for the trial was set, and it was determined that most of the town assumed that the rats would be tried in absentia. Because the rats were not going to make it to the court. Anyways, so...
They deliver like a little notice outside of their like rat holes. They're just like, you have to show up.
So the date of the trial comes, and the rats didn't show up.
Joke's on you, Mr. Cheddar Esquire comes in the courtroom.
Mr. Cheddar Esquire.
But their lawyer... makes a motion. And the motion is this. Because the rats who destroyed the barley presumably ventured from all over the place, he said that there was no way that the rats had been given enough time to hear about the trial, and a better effort must be made to ensure that the rats could appear for their day in court.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Yes.
And so the court adjourned.
This sounds fair.
And they made their effort to broadcast the trial.
Are you gonna be able to finish this?
So they made a wider effort for the next 3 weeks to broadcast the trial date with town criers, with posted notes. The new date arrives. The rats are still not in attendance. The lawyer makes another motion to declare that accommodations need to be made and protections secured for the rats that need to move about the country, fleeing from hostile forces that are ready to pounce. He essentially said that the court wasn't doing enough to protect rats from showing up because they would be attacked by cats on their way to the court. And Zach, your guess was not that far wrong because this guy gets the trial thrown out.
Bruh, he's the best lawyer ever.
He's the best lawyer France has.
Honestly, his talents are being wasted.
It's I mean, he did go on to have a prolific law career, but that's
so fucking good.
Oh my god,
I think
don't
what's
know.
crazy is that the French the French in the 1500s are more fair in their justice system than the American justice system today, because they, like, literally the courts will be like, you have to show up tomorrow at 7 a.m. before the courts open up. That's when your trial is. If you can't make it, too damn bad. We don't care if you don't have a car or a lawyer. And meanwhile, these people are like, I don't know, man. Like, the rats just don't know.
Not make it.
The rats cannot make it. All right, we need to let them know. Can anyone speak rat here? They need to have like an armored escort.
They need an armed escort.
Like an armored escort, because the cats might get them.
What I really loved about this is, as I was doing research, and I didn't like see any quote for quote, but he described like the nature of the enemies that these rats had all over the place. And, like, did not name cats as their enemies, but did describe all of the things that a cat would be.
Oh my god.
Like, these cunning, agile, waiting in the shadows to, like, pounce on the rats. So, yeah, that's my first rat-related story about how a Frenchman got a bunch of rats acquitted for a crime that they definitely committed. The second rat-related story comes from the Second World-related war.
Okay.
I'm so happy about that line. That was such a good joke.
It's like...
In 1941, there was a plan by British Special Operations Executive who had procured some dead rats, around 100 of them.
Okay.
The rats were gutted, and they were stuffed with plastic explosives.
Oh, God.
And the plan for these dead rats, or rat bombs, is that they were going to be placed in places like factories, power stations, or trains. Basically anywhere that you would use a boiler to run the facility, essentially, or run whatever it was. The point being, or the purpose being, that most of these were coal-fed at the time, and so it required people to, like, shovel in coal. And more often than not, if you found a dead rat on a train, in a power plant, whatever, in a factory, you just shovel it into the boiler to just get it out of the way.
Like, you're gonna kill it. You're gonna get rid of it anyway. Might as well just fucking go.
Yeah, you might as well just toss it in the boiler. So the plan was that with the plastic explosives inside the rats, the fuse on the rats would then get lit by the boiler, and it would cause an explosion that obviously won't kill anyone nearby, because rats are only so big. And they can't, like, stuff the thing to the brim with plastic explosive without it looking really suspicious. So their hope was that when the rats exploded, it would cause the boiler itself to then explode. Or, like, a leak to start, and then the boiler would explode, which would cause much more devastation. Not only that, but it would then disable whatever they were targeting, I guess. So, like I said, the targets of these attacks were planned to be anywhere that a boiler was used, and the hope that it was going to impact Nazi infrastructure and things like that.
Classic.
Unfortunately, this plan did not work, because the first shipment of rat bombs got intercepted by the Germans.
Sounds right.
And instead of being able to blow boilers up with these little rat bombs, what ended up happening is that the Germans brought these rat bombs back to, like, high command, Nazi high command, and they were like, look at what these people are trying to do. Which in turn led to every single rat being considered, or every single dead rat being considered as, like, a potential rat bomb. So the Germans treated every rodent problem like it might have been a bomb.
With extreme prejudice.
Yeah, and the British Special Operations said that it worked way better than the bombs would have. Because essentially what it turned into was like a distraction tactic where they're inspecting every dead rat before they're like throwing it into a boiler or doing whatever they would with it. So,
which honestly is a massive use of resources.
yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So, I apologize, Zach. You'll probably have to edit this later. I am going to blow my nose.
That's fine.
Anyways, those were my rat-related stories, and I figured I would do both of them at once because one of them was small enough, like this last one was small enough to be like a miniature history, but
Yeah.
I figured since I was telling one story about rats, I could squeeze a little one in the end
Yeah,
there.
fuck yeah.
Fuck
And
yeah,
a little
baby.
a little extra rat story never hurt, you know?
A little extra rat story never hurt anybody.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are
Honestly,
my stories.
the first one was so funny.
The first one was I need you to know that I had literal tears.
Dude,
in
you
my
were
eyes.
cracking up so fucking hard, and I was like,
could
how could
not
you not?
breathe. I felt
How could you not?
I feel bad.
Like,
I felt ashamed, and then the shame turned into pure giggles.
Why feel bad? Because that is so funny.
I feel bad that it
so
was the
good.
French that did it, if I'm honest.
All right, fair
I
enough.
don't like
They knew what they were
I don't
doing.
like giving the French credit.
Fair enough.
Yeah, that's fair, actually.
There's one Frenchman that I give credit to, and it was that mime that helped get kids out of Nazi-controlled France in
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah,
World
the
War
soccer
II, and
mime.
that's about it. But this guy is a close second
He's up there, for sure.
because he got rats. He got rats off trial.
That's so fucking funny.
We have to
I don't-
add that last bit because if we just say he got rats off, this is a very different story.
That's true.
Anyways, we've come to the part of the podcast where I begin to say an outro and then Zach interrupts to talk about our social.
Ba-da-bum, ba-da-bum.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah, here I am talking about our socials. Well, thank you very much, folks, for listening to our lovely episode. It did go a little bit long. We were a little bit extra tonight, but you know what? Fuck it. We're fun. You can find more of us if you like more of us. And you should. We're pretty fucking fantastic. But you can find more of us on all of our social media. You can find us on Facebook if you look up the Triumvirate Productions. You can find us on Instagram at _Triumvirate_Productions, and you can find us on Patreon at patreon.com/Triumvirate Productions, where you can get all of the extra fun things like bonus episodes, unedited episodes, and just generally more of us, because you get a whole other social media feed that is only available to Patreon listeners. But yeah, so you can find us on all of our fun little social medias. We have some exciting things in the works that if you're a Patreon, you get to hear before everyone else. So stay tuned, you know?
Stay tuned.
Yeah. That's that. That's all I got.
Guys, I'm gonna do the next bit of the thing. CD, do you want to? No, she's sleeping. She's sleeping, so I have to be quiet with this. What the fuck, history?
I'm gonna count us out.
Yeah.
Thank you.
3, 2, 1, stop.